I have a pet kangaroo right now.
What did you do for the whole month of September in total GMV?
It was like 600,000 or something like
That's
that.
crazy. And you made $134,000 in commission off of that.
Since I started, I've made like it's over 300,000 in commission now. You know, I was producing those numbers, and then my account get locked up, and basically didn't get any of that money, and I needed it back. There's a point where I had my house on the market. I'm still in the wildlife business. I have a pet kangaroo right now.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Social Army Podcast. I'm your host, Bryce, and today we have a pretty incredible guest with us, somebody who has done absolute bonkers numbers in just a short few weeks' time and roughly almost $200,000 in less than 45 days. And that $200K is in commission. So absolutely insane. And like always, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time talking here. So we're going to go ahead and bring him on and introduce him. His name is Brandon. Brandon, if you would.
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. Glad to have you here. You've done some absolutely insane numbers. I'd love to hear a little bit more about you, who you are, and kind of how you got started.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm 35, so I'm kind of older than a lot of creators on TikTok, especially some of the people that have like mentored me. You know, they've been younger. But I had taken the leap and to do this full time in May or end of April and beginning of May. And I've had.
So you're looking at 6 months, maybe?
6 months, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because it feels like way longer than that.
Right.
The days feel like weeks, you know, and once it starts rolling, you know, things are good. But, you know, had a lot of setbacks definitely along the way. And so very thankful to be here at this point.
That's awesome. And those setbacks, man, a lot of people quit after those, but some of the things that you told me off screen here before we started recording, the fact that you kept going, good for you. And we'll dive into that here in a little bit, guys, but a little bit more about kind of how you got started, man. What sparked you on TikTok Shop? I mean, what gave you the idea to pursue this?
Right. So like a lot of people say, I was on TikTok and saw people posting screenshots of, you know, the money they were making. You know, some of it was like, you know, what I thought was crazy at the time for doing TikTok videos. You know, I didn't really understand the full concept yet at the time, but, you know, they're making $5,000, $10,000, you know, $1,000 a week. And I was like, I had a good social media presence from my business that I ran previously. And so I felt like, I should be able to do something like this and definitely wanted to pursue it. So, but other people's, you know, success is what really drove me to do it.
Man, that's the same for me. Seeing all those, especially the younger generations, just killing it with that money on TikTok, I had to get a piece of it. I had to. So good for you on capitalizing on that. And I feel you on the age thing too, man. You know, I'm a little bit younger than you are, but learning from these younger guys was kind of crazy because the drive that they have is unmatched. You know, I wish I had that much energy still, but
I know.
That's funny.
It's awesome though, but it's cool. I enjoy it. It's a good perspective. If you can get yourself into that mindset, you can actually learn a lot, and it reminds you of a different perspective that you've kind of put on the back burner with responsibilities and, you know, adulting, I guess, if you will.
Right. And no one likes adulting. Sometimes I wish I could just shut it off for a day, but you know, you got kids, got some mouths to feed. So
that's right.
That's funny. So you said you had a business and you've kind of had a big social media presence. What did you do for your business? And were you working a job alongside, or were you a business owner in general for work?
So I have a pretty weird, crazy resume, but my most recent gig, I say most recent, for 10 years, I've been a full-time hunting outfitter. So I take people hunting on ranches. I'm in Texas.
That's badass.
And so I work with all sorts of exotic wildlife. I still do. I'm still in the wildlife business, but I don't do any hunts anymore. My kid was getting a little older, and so I wanted to stay home a little bit more.
Right. So a quick question on that, just kind of off topic here. You said you do those exotic hunts right down in Texas. I used to build wind turbines, and I worked down in Brady, Texas. Mm-hmm. And there is a bunch of ranches down there that have high game fences that had some like exotic deer from across the world. Is that kind of like what you do? Yeah,
exactly.
That's
you know, these ranches, we have, you know, a lot of them have over 40 species on them. You know, I actually have a pet kangaroo right now. Yeah. And all sorts of crazy stuff. And it seems wild, you know, but it's like any other, it's like cattle market. You know, it's big business in Texas. I think the hunting and wildlife business in Texas is like, the last numbers I saw was like $4 billion. So Yeah, it's real. So it's a huge deal here, and yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. It seems crazy. People are like, "You have a kangaroo in your back?" Yes, right now I have a kangaroo.
I'm speechless. I don't even know what to say. I have so many questions. What's its name?
I actually don't have. I try not to, just because I buy and sell animals so much that
Sure.
my son gets attached to them. But
Sure.
I tried not to. I hung on to this one because she has a little baby, and so I'm letting her raise it just to get a little bit bigger, and then we'll find it a new home.
That's so wild to me.
That's
The little
crazy.
babies are called Joeys, right? That's what
Joey's, yeah.
the yeah. And the
And for the longest time, like I didn't even quite realize it, because it stays in the pouch, So,
right. So
so finally, like,
you got the kangaroo when she was pregnant, I take it?
yeah, yeah,
And you had no idea.
no, I say that she looked a little heavy,
Right.
and so it was like a guess, It was either she was pregnant, and that allows me to make money because then I buy one, sell two, right?
Sure, sure,
I
sure.
keep them together, but like I said, it's like cattle trading or whatever. You buy them and then you feed them and keep them, and then you have multiple, and then you sell them for profit. And so,
Oh my goodness, this is the craziest thing I've ever heard on this show before. This isn't I love this. This is so fucking cool. Oh my goodness.
yeah, that's awesome.
Buys a kangaroo, ends up with two. That is
Yeah,
wild. That's so
I
cool.
know.
Okay, anyway, let's get back on
It's all
track
good.
here. So that's pretty cool. So your business is dealing with that and things of that nature, but you pulled away from it and to kind of go full force with TikTok. So for the last 10 years, you've been doing that. So since you were like 25, you started your own business in that aspect. Was it kind of weird getting out of the physical reins of having to deal with that type of business and jumping into something that was more digital and content creation, more or less?
It was definitely weird.
Sure.
I guess what I think is and I still to this day think is really strange about doing TikTok is you have no interaction with like your seller, like your shop or whatever. I mean, you
Right,
have a little
right,
bit, but like in my previous business, it was all about personal relationship to build your business. With whether it
right.
was my direct customers or the people I was buying from, and so it was funny. One of the products that I've done really well with on TikTok recently, I hit over 1 million GMV with it, and I messaged them and I was like, "Hey, fun fact, I just rolled over 1 million GMV, and I have never heard a single name from anyone there. Like who I've talked to, or just on
Right.
Messenger." And I was like, that to me is crazy, and it still is. There's some products now that people are a little bit more. I work closely with, and I know them. But
Right.
yeah, there's still some you're selling, and you have no knowledge or relationship with them, which is
Gives
still a little
virtually
wild.
zero connection in a lot of ways
Mhm.
too.
Right.
On my biggest product, the only communication I had between them was a WhatsApp person, and I didn't even know if they were real half the time.
She called
Because
you
of the
deer
language
all day.
barrier. Yeah, the language barriers. Man, dear is such a trigger word
It's
at this
wearing me
point.
out.
Dude. Every
It's wearing
dear,
me.
hi dear, hey dear, hey
I
dear,
know.
the product's arrived. Hey dear, when's your video again? Oh my goodness, stop it.
Someone change Google Translate or something and just put a different word in there.
Right.
Like, what is going on?
I don't know who told them that us here in America like to be called deer, but
Oh,
no, stop it.
yeah.
It's the most insane thing ever. But it's so true because a lot of these companies, you have virtually no communication with them whatsoever. You get a free sample from them that's typically fulfilled by TikTok or an agency on TikTok or them directly. They just get your request, they mail it to you. You shoot a couple of videos, boom, one of them goes viral. You've earned all this money. They either take care of you with ads or hey, you want some more products, and that's like the end of the conversation. Like
Right. Right.
it's crazy. Now a lot of these American based companies, however, if you do really really well for them, they like to reward you, but
Right.
that's the difference in personal connection. These companies overseas, I think that's really what it boils down to, is they don't understand the mesh between their creators and them as a business. There should be a really solid relationship there, but it's crazy that there isn't. And $1
I
million
agree
in
with you.
GMV is nothing to balk at. I mean that paid them so much money. Like
So what's funny is I'm sure if anyone's seen my accounts, I do a lot of books.
interesting.
And yeah, I do like the holistic guide and their survival
Ah,
book. I know, and I actually, that's another story about the spinoff of what was the other one, the herbal remedies book,
right.
because
That book
that
has
was
so
going
many people
viral when I
banned.
started. I know, I know. I had a few accounts banned too at the beginning
Right.
from that. But what's crazy is I had followed this author on Instagram for a while now, you know, because I am a huge fan of these books, and
Sure.
that's what's cool about that part is I am a believer in that part. You know,
There's some
sometimes you're
passion
moving
there.
stuff on TikTok that you're just like,
Yeah.
you know. But I messaged her too, even on Instagram, and was like, hey, I thought it was a little crazy. I hadn't introduced myself yet, but I've sold $1 million worth of your books, you know,
Right.
and she messaged me back. She was really awesome, you know. But it's funny that like I could have more of a connection with her, who's uninvolved with the day to day operations, you know,
Which is crazy.
yeah. But that company did when I messaged them on that day. That guy did give me his name, but I promised I wouldn't say anything like what it was.
That's fair. That's fair. No, that's pretty cool though. I mean, $1 million on a book is insane.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I'm trying to rip the wrapper off of this water bottle. Give me 1 second.
You're fine.
I don't want to. As we get more eyes on this show, I don't want to accidentally get a copyright or a trademark violation on YouTube.
Totally
you know, of all places.
Yeah.
Golly. Anyway, that's cool. That's really, really cool. I've been terrified of getting that book myself, man, because I had a lot of creators in the early stages of that book going viral just get absolutely ripped off of TikTok for it. But again, you know, that comes with making sure you're following guidelines and things of that nature. But in my opinion, these books you're not walking on thin ice with them. You know, maybe the natural remedy ones because, you know, you're dealing with sicknesses and things of that nature, but the survival books, you're not tiptoeing on areas where, in my opinion, that it really goes against guidelines, but you know, it is what it is. TikTok is TikTok is TikTok. That's the best way I can put that.
and what's crazy is I can tell you kind of how that progressed too. Which is it's a good story for other, you know, creators to hear.
Sure.
Because I feel like I'm the poster child of figuring out what works for you and then doing it again and again and again.
Doubling down, going hard.
Right. That Herbal Remedies book was going viral, and I was trying to do supplements when I first started, which, as you know, is very difficult.
Yes.
And I saw all the violations happening for the Herbal Remedies book, so I found that other book in that same shop, the Holistic Guide, and I was like, I want to use this book as like a foundation to promote supplements, right?
Sure.
And so I started doing, you know, promoting the book a little bit, and then I was going to throw supplements on. Well, the book went viral. And I, you know, had this fantastic month, and it was, you know, right at the beginning of starting, and they took the book down. My account got locked up, and I basically I was frozen, you know, with all my money. You know, I'd maybe gotten out like $5,000, and there was like 20 in there still in commissions.
You were locked out of $20,000.
Yeah, yeah. And
was it a 24 point?
Part. What's that?
Was it a 24 point violation?
Yeah. So I could see it right there. My withdrawal button was just grayed out.
That's so like, that's so unfortunate.
It was miserable. So I was a little frustrated for a couple of days, but what I did was I bought another account, you know, and I bought some accounts. You know, that's the other thing. It's like I was never afraid to burn accounts at the beginning.
Quick disclaimer on that one, real quick. Quick disclaimer on that. For anybody looking at purchasing an account, do me a favor. Do your due diligence and be extremely careful about this.
Right.
No purchased account is ever safe from a complete and total ban out of thin air. Just your own, just for your own. Yes.
I've lost
1,000%. Yep. Just quick disclaimer. All right, keep going. Sorry.
Right. Which was, you know, that. Anyways, I was pretty upset at that time, and so then I basically got the survival book. It was the No Grid survival book. It wasn't viral yet, but I was like, hey, you know, that shop had sent me all the books, and I did the exact same thing, the exact same script style, hook style for that book as I was doing as the other one, and it went viral.
Interesting.
And then we sold.
So you made that one viral single-handedly.
Yes. And then also the Navy SEAL bugging guide. The next one. That's awesome. I did the same thing for all of these books, and it just kept working.
Hey, you find something that works, you double down. It's the same thing. So I tell people all the time that there's a structure I use: hook, relatability, controversy, and a call to action. Those are the 4 things that I use in all of my videos. I've had over 25 viral videos. When I say viral, I mean over 1 million views using that exact same strategy on all of my videos. I don't stray away from that because I know it works. So you doing that and finding it to work, and then single-handedly taking other books that had no virality and turning them into viral products by following your structure is amazing. Most people are afraid to to continue to double down on something that they found success with because they want to try to test different angles to see if they can find success somewhere else. Don't do that. If it works, it works. Don't try to reinvent the wheel, you know?
Right.
It's crazy. Right. Good for you.
I finally found something. I was like, okay, these books, they have nothing to do with like, you know, wellness or, you know, medicine or something like that. And I was like, if I, you know, and so I felt safe with the survival style books. But then what's crazy is my other account was still locked up. And one morning I woke up and my account was going nuts. And, you know, it still had like 30 days left on a 90-day suspension on it. And all my points were gone. And the account, without making new videos or whatever, I think that day it did like, I think $3,500 in commission or something like that. Like just existing from all the other videos. Because it was so viral when they cut it off. That when that book came back online, it just kept going.
For You page took it and ran with it again.
Right. And so I really don't have any idea why my account like got all the points gone. But that happened, and it ended up happening again. That was the first time my one of these accounts, the book, TikTok actually told the company that the book was good. They got the green light, right? And they said, hey, we're not going to take this book down again. Y'all are good. And then the algorithm actually automatically caught the book. I had another monster day, and it always happened like on the same days that I would have huge days. The algorithm caught the book and banned it itself. And so it took another like product. 2-3. The whole product. Yeah, they took it off the shop. The algorithm did it. The algorithm did it. And the shop told me, because they were like, look, we've been greenlit. They said it's the algorithm. It's going to take them a few weeks to get it fixed. Yeah. And they did.
The AI does a lot of mismoderation.
And once it did, you're looking at what, you know, the start of September. And since then, you know, now I have all 3 of my accounts, and typically most of them are running, you know, I do the books as a foundation on all of them, but different books on each. And so beginning of September, that one came back online. And since then, you know, it's been, I mean, crazy.
What did you do for the whole month of September in total GMV?
It was 134 in September.
That's commission.
Oh,
right?
and GMV, it was like 600,000 or something like that.
That's crazy. And you made $134,000 in commission off of that.
Right.
That's wild. Congrats.
I think
dude,
I looked the other day. I think I'm at, since I started, I've made like it's over 300,000 in commission now.
That's insane. And in 6 months' time.
6 months, yeah.
6 months' time. You're looking,
and over half of that's been in the last 45 days.
That's wild. God, TikTok is one of the, for those of you guys watching this, if you don't know anything about TikTok Shop and this is the first thing you're ever watching, TikTok Shop can literally produce you explosive numbers that are bigger gains and than the stock market, than crypto, than anything of that nature, with very little to zero capital from your end. How much money did you invest in, aside from, say, on the one that blew up? How much did that account cost? That was a purchased account, right?
Yeah, I mean, I maybe have $500 into them.
Right, and know, you've made. Maybe.
Back then, though, when I was buying accounts, they were like $100, you know.
Right. It just blows my mind on how little of an investment you can put in monetary investment. We'll get to the time side of it here in a second, but on the monetary side of things, how small of an investment you can put into this business opportunity and just see the massive gains that come out of it. Now, it'll take a toll on your mental because TikTok is TikTok and you're going to always run into issues. But the time is the only other thing that you need to invest on your end in order to make this work. And for you to invest, a few hours a week creating these videos, if that, with a very small monetary investment to explode and make over $300,000 in commission, we are literally living in a once-in-a-time lifetime opportunity that most people are watching go right by them. It blows my mind.
I agree. I tell people about it all the time, like friends and, you know, family, and they all just kind of like, yeah.
They laugh.
You know,
they scoff.
I know. I told my dad, I was talking to my dad about a project, and I told him, I was like, yeah, so apparently I've, you know, #1 in TikTok shop sales for the past 2 weeks. And he's like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, man, awesome. I can't even wrap my head around it, you know, like it's
right
from where I used to watch. What motivated me was seeing all the other people's success, you know, and I would see someone drop, you know, like a $50,000 screenshot and just be like, oh my gosh, and that would keep me going. Right. And so now to be doing that is just, you know, it's hard to believe. It really is.
I'll be honest. I've been doing this what are we in? February. I've been doing this almost 8 months, 7 months right now. And you have made 100 grand more than I have in terms of commission off of TikTok Shop. And you started basically 2 months after I did. There's no like, it's insane on what this can do. You know, it's wild. And we have some major killers in the group.
I watched you and your major viral one too.
Right.
Like I studied that, you know, and that was a huge part of, you know, that next step for me, seeing your success and your numbers. I was like, this is why I'm going to continue to try to do this.
100%.
I was like, because, you know, I was like, he just quit his job today. I mean, I was watching you at that time, you know, I was like, look, I was following along that whole time and, you know, it's like, man, and I watched your video and dissected it, you know, like that's
right.
I think once you get to that point to where you can dissect it a certain way, you can start recreating, you know, a viral formula.
100%. You have to put it in a way that makes sense to you. You know, that video I made when I quit my job, that day my boss approached me and said, "Hey, so I hear you're making all types of money on TikTok now." And bear in mind, a couple of weeks prior to that, he said that TikTok can't pay your bills. Dude's still a really good friend of mine today. I actually called him earlier today. So like no shade or anything towards the dealership or towards them or anything of that nature. But that same day he came in, he said, "I heard you're making all this money on TikTok." He goes, "So when am I gonna lose you?" And I looked at him and I was like, "Man, I was actually gonna come talk to you today." He goes, "So when am I gonna lose you?" I was like, so I was going to talk to you. He goes, "When am I going to lose you?" I was like, "I'm sorry, this is my last day." This is my last day. And I showed him everything. And his like, I could feel like the sadness come over. And then also the anger, like, fuck, you know, I'm about to lose one of my finance guys. This is going to take a toll, you know, but he's on to bigger and better things. And then I can also feel like the proud dad moment from him. Cause he watched me. I worked for him for a very long time. And he watched me, you know, try all these different things. Nothing ever worked. And then boom, seeing this pop off, like, you know, you could see it in him. But I was like, I'll stay to the end of the day. I'll handle everything I need to handle. I ended up staying like an hour and a half late that day. I didn't get out of work till like 9 o'clock. But the second I got in my truck, I immediately turned on that camera and made that video, dude. I had to make it from the heart.
That day,
dude.
I did. I was pumped for you and motivated by it. Honestly,
right.
That's you know, now sometimes when I like in Social Army, I try to help, you know, and give as much advice as I can, or make lighthearted things or whatever.
Sure.
You know, just try to be involved in the community, because I remember when I was at the beginning stages, seeing that success is what motivated me. Now on this side, I'm like, should I post it? You know, like, you know, I don't want to be like, I don't want to take away, but I try to remember that when, if you're the type of person that's motivated by seeing that stuff, then it'll help. You know, it'll help. It'll help. And it did for me.
The last group I was in before we created Social Army, I wasn't like very active in terms of main chat, but every time I had a big day or a big week or whatever it was, I'd go into the win section and I would remind people, I'm not special. I'm a regular everyday dude. I've got kids, you know, I worked a job, this and that. I would post my results. Oh, there's a gnarly echo. Did your phone connect to a speaker or something?
Me? No. Hold on. No, not me.
Hello. Interesting. Anyway, I would that's killing me. It's like spitting it back into my ear. No, it's not on your end. It's whenever I speak. Oh, it's gone. It's completely gone. Okay. But whenever I would make these posts inside that inside the win section inside that community, I would make sure to remind everybody that, hey, this is extremely achievable by the majority. You just have to invest in yourself by learning what you need to learn and picking the brains of those who have the success you want, and just the consistency. And all it takes is one. But the amount of people that those posts would motivate was insane. And it's all about how you come across. Now, if you come across as, oh, this is just too easy, another 50K week, and you post that in the wins, you're looked at as just some sort of an arrogant ass, right? I never wanted to be that guy. I always wanted to remain humble with it, in which I still do, because I know we all came from the same place of, can this work? Does this work for me? Is this the right way to go? Is this something that's even real? Because for the longest time, I would see people making money on drop shipping, and they'd post $200,000-$300,000 months. Now, granted, that's total revenue. I don't know what their profit was out of that, because they never shared profit. But I was like, wow, this just seems so out of reach and impossible. Yet here I am doing $1 million in total sales in less than a year's time and bringing in around 200K in commission, and I'm living it now. And it's
Right.
just like, holy shit. But those
It's
posts are what motivated me. So
right.
to be able to post them myself, I knew it was going to help other individuals.
And anyone that I've ever seen say that it was easy, kind of ran into a viral video. I felt like it's
Right.
like, you would
It's
see
not
them.
easy.
They had a viral video kind of at the beginning, and they made a bunch of money, and then they became a guru, maybe, or whatever. And then like a month later, they're like, it's not as easy as maybe and it's like, yeah, it really isn't. I feel like right now, like I got lucky on a video. I felt like I got lucky on a video recently. Playing with a flashlight, and I didn't, I was just couldn't sleep, and I was messing around with it, and I woke up and I was like, I hadn't been this viral in a while,
Right.
But the amount of times that that happens versus how many posts and hours and times you put into it is it's nothing. Like the chances of you going viral by accident are just so slim. You really got to put the hours in.
You do. It's one thing I will say is this simple to do, of course.
Right.
It's not much to make a video. I mean, anybody can pick up a video and film. Now, what's hard is mastering what it takes to captivate people's attention, mastering what it takes to keep the attention span through the majority of the video, and then convincing them to want to buy something, taking them away from their entertainment scrolling purposes. So it's difficult to do. Your echo is back. Can you do me a favor? Where is your audio at?
I'm on my iPad.
Can you turn the overall volume down, maybe?
Yeah. There.
Hello. There we go. Okay, it's gone.
Okay.
It was picking up my voice on the outside. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I got you down, but I can hear you.
Okay, good. So, I forgot where I was at.
It's not complicated to actually like record yourself and make a video, but finding what works to be viral and getting someone to buy a product definitely is.
It is, and it's mentally exhausting. I mean, at the end of the day, you have a product and you have to look at it and try to think of many different angles to record the product from to make it come across as natural as possible. It's difficult to do. I mean, people are on TikTok for entertainment. They're not on there to be sold with every single video. So the second something comes across as, a straight sales pitch style video, people are just going to scroll right past. Bringing me to another point with you. What is your structure in your videos?
So I'll tell you what's worked really well, and it seems so silly. I was trying to figure out a good hook when I first started, and I always seen like the combination of movement and basically I focused on trying to stop someone in the first 1 second. And now that proves to be. But I started taking and I still do it to this day. If you go watch a video right now, like that I posted today, I did it. I take like vegetables or something, and I crunch one right at the very beginning, and I'm crunching it right then, and reading maybe a title, like a heading that I put above me or something like that. And I have done this for 6 months, and it works. If I don't do that, I do some sort of camera lift while I talk at the very first second to get that movement, and that seems to be very successful too. And that to me has been, then you have to continue into the video and make your sales. But I feel like that I go watch my video. I crunch on like vegetables. I mean, recently,
take a whole ass cucumber and take a bite
I did an
out of
onion
it
one time.
Oh my goodness! I have a video of my little brother's
their
friend
mind
doing
about it. And that's it. And everyone's like, hold on, but that's, to me,
it's
like,
shock
first
value.
off, I like them. So
a shock factor. That's what it is.
Right.
You're jarring people immediately with a visual shock. Like, what? Hold on. What did this guy just do? And they'll swipe up, swipe back down just to see the beginning of your video again.
Right. Sometimes I'm like eating like these little vegetables, and it's like, someone, I don't know, one of them, I was eating like a little pepper, and they're like, I had to stop and look again because I thought you just ate an AirPod. So I don't know. I wasn't trying to like fool them that way, but or one time I had a banana pepper, and it was like a big one, and I took a bite out of it at the beginning. I was kind of holding it like this, and everyone thought I ate like a piece of a banana in the peel. So for whatever reason, I guess it looked like that. But that's been one of those things I've just stuck to and done whenever I feel like things are going a little bit slower. Like I'll go right back to that. I'll stand in my kitchen, the same place, grab some fresh veggies and do them. And then,
My next video, I'm going to start it off by eating an orange without taking the peel off.
there
That's
you
going
go.
to be and then I'm going to
I'm telling
talk while chewing the orange peel. Oh my
Right.
gosh. Yes. No, this is going to be great. You've just given me the best idea ever. That's crazy though that works. And it's a hook. It's visual. It's shocking. It's jarring. But
Right.
then it gets people to listen to what is this crazy guy going to tell me? Why is he
Right.
eating an orange on the screen? What is going on? You know, that's amazing. And that's so smart.
People start trying to determine if that has something to do with what I'm talking about too.
Right. And it has probably nothing to do with it
No.
at all. Right.
No.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I've never really thought about that kind of stuff. But this also just goes to show why we do this show is to get the input from other creators. Like you're doing something I don't think I've ever seen anybody else do on the app. I mean, I've seen some really weird intros. I've seen people throw dummies across the screen and then they stand up like they fell off of a chair or something, you know, but like never somebody who's just eaten that's wild. I like that.
Yeah.
I actually really like that. I'm going to try that out.
Try it out. Go look at my videos. I always welcome people. I'm like, recreate it. And there are people out there now that like I talk to, even because I try to reach out to people that are selling like the same stuff. Especially if I see someone doing my script structure.
Right.
And a lot of times they might not even know because there's quite a few people doing it now. I'll reach out and I'll be like, hey, you know, like, look, try this. I'm like, do this, you know, at the beginning of it. And so I'm more than willing, you know, I'd love for people to try it. You know, I've watched people go viral doing the same structure. I mean, there's someone, you know, almost beating me in sales on one of these books right now doing the same thing. It's kind of crazy. Funny.
I think Patrick, one of my buddies that does this, he was one of them. I'm pretty sure that is doing took some inspiration from you as well.
It is Patrick.
That's so funny. I knew exactly who it was when you said that. Yeah. He's killing it with those books, man. He does a really, really good job with them.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I love that. That's awesome. See, that's also what this is about is a lot of people like to gatekeep this kind of stuff. TikTok, there's virtually no saturation on this app when it comes to these videos because it's going to put it in front of a different audience every time. And on top of that, people take at least 4 or 5 times seeing something before they do decide to make a buying decision. So your video might be the 4th or 5th one that they see and they're like, okay, you know what? There's something behind this. So they'll click on it and buy it. I don't see it as a competition thing. I see it as more of a validation thing for the viewers watching the video. If they see multiple people, you know, going on about the same thing, that odds are that's what they're going to, you know, they're going to gravitate towards it and be like, okay, there is some, you know, validity behind this. Maybe I should look into this. And you might just be the creator they see. So I love that. I love sharing ideas. I love sharing hooks. Hell, the coldest cup. I talk about this all the time. I went into the community and gave everybody my video and said, go copy this. See how many more can go viral. 5 people went viral with it. We all made around the same type of money, you know? Didn't hurt my pockets one bit, but it helped others' pockets. So like I love that. That's awesome. Yeah. Good on you too for not being, you know, the type that just wants to kind of like hide it and be like, oh, this is my secret sauce. Like, there really isn't much to it, you know? I love it. And at the end of the day, if you're on Callow Data, you know how many people look at that website and see your name as number 1? Your profile is being stalked by thousands of affiliates every single day.
Right. So I am a little sneaky because I have 3 profiles. So if you have to take all 3. And then for some reason too, the one that just got all those 24 points, it doesn't show any data on there. So I kind of fly under the radar on that one. It's weird. I'm telling you that account is, you know,
maybe it's banned on other areas.
Like it doesn't show any of my data. It's the one that's had 24 point violations twice. And I recently got invited to TikTok Star, and I asked my rep there, you know, which I think is really cool because, you know, now, you know, joining an agency is so important. Like being part of, you know, a community like Social Army is so important for so many reasons. But, you know, one of them, especially for me, was, you know, trying to understand violations and how to get support. But anyways, I mentioned that and she was like, yeah, you can just like the account, like it's surprising that account's up. Like it doesn't like, it's just weird. It's been, I don't know. I've lost some money at the beginning of TikTok Shop with ban waves and stuff because I was buying accounts irresponsibly, you know, and different things of that nature. And so I don't question it, you know, hey, a win, you know, finally, you know, a breakthrough on something that's positive in the right direction, you know, I'm happy to have it. But yeah, I have them looking into it too at the TikTok Star rep. So we'll see what happens.
Hopefully they can help you too, because that's almost a direct one-on-one with an individual directly from TikTok. The STAR
Right.
program's awesome. There's a lot of people who are unaware of what that is. I do believe there are some stipulations in terms of total monthly GMV you have to meet month in, month out in terms of consistency to be even considered for the program. But you'll know if you get an invite to the STAR program, it's a good thing.
I thought it was spam.
Most people do.
You're so worn out on all the, like they're when things start going well on your account, especially if you had a lot of problems before,
Right.
you're scared to do much different, and you see an invite come through. I'm like, I don't know about that. I even,
Right.
it's funny, my email chain, to the TikTok star rep was like, I'll look into that,
Yeah.
And then I emailed back, well, on further investigation, I realized that this is legitimate.
Yeah, this is not fake. I get those blue check mark emails all the time from fake TikToks.
That
Oh my
one's
gosh.
terrible.
One of our early on creators, she sent the information and got hacked. But the email is it's like missing one part away from being a real email. So it looks so real. But TikTok will never reach out for blue check mark. Yeah, I've gotten so many of them. It's insane.
Right.
It sucks. It really does. But the thing is too that all the spam in the emails from anything TikTok related once you become a creator sucks. They have in-person events. I've been invited to 2 now that I found in my email that I never saw. One of them went to spam and the other one was sent to a wrong email. Now, it was an email listed on my account, but it wasn't the shop email that I had created for it. So I missed out on 2 in-person events because it just doesn't get filtered properly. It's really unfortunate. And I always make the joke, TikTok hates me. They don't ever want me to come see them in person. Yet they've invited me twice and I missed them both. So it's unfortunate.
Exactly.
But so real quick, man, you had mentioned earlier about some of the hardships that you faced with this. We did touch base slightly on that. What are some of the crazy things that you have experienced that at the end of the day would have made almost every other person just kind of throw in the towel and quit?
Right. So
if you don't mind, obviously I don't want you to touch on anything that you're uncomfortable sharing.
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
I'm glad to share it. And I've told this story to perfect strangers on TikTok, even that, have asked, because they're like, wow, you're killing it. And I'm like, well, I just want you to know that it wasn't always this way.
Right.
Definitely wasn't. The majority of the time, if I were to think about it, was, really difficult for me. And I felt like everything constantly was working against me. But, at the beginning of it, when I first saw success and I decided that I was going to jump into this full time, I was producing those numbers and then, I had my account get locked up and didn't get any of that money and I needed it back. I needed it at that time. I was closing my other business. So I had some big expenses. And it ended up happening twice to me and simultaneously. So meaning I had, a large chunk locked up in one and then it happened again in another one. And so, there's a point where I had my house on the market. I'm really good family friends with my banker. And, so we communicate quite a bit. And when that was going on, she was like, look, we got to play it safe. And I mean, it was scary, but again, I somehow, found another way. I was like, start another, I have another account that I've been working on. Let's do shop on this. Obviously I'm seeing success in what I'm doing, but then I'm just getting something is happening towards the end. I felt like it was just a bad string of bad luck, and honestly it was because once I powered through and things started turning around, when these numbers start getting crazy now, it's because you're looking at all 3 of those accounts, all not having any of the little crazy things that happened to it at the time, happen. Now it's still the same content, but without getting random violations for, they were I would get an alcohol, drugs, firearm violation for something that had nothing to do with it, and then my account would be suspended.
Right.
And it's like this, and trying to, chat support. They're like, promise me that it would be fixed by the end of this conversation every single day.
Yeah, live chat is
and then
crazy.
They'd be like, oh, I see you have a violation. I'm like, oh my God.
Live chat is crazy. For those of y'all out there, if you need an issue handled, find yourself an agency, TikTok's live
Yes,
chat is about the most worthless. You might as well go to Chat GPT and ask it some questions, and then
exactly.
try to copy and paste those questions to the
It,
search bar. Like it's horrible.
it's
It's
frustrating. But I would
horrible.
go
Yeah.
every single day on there because it was part of what helped me continue to move on. Because when you have something that significant of an issue and you have no one
Yep.
to like reach out to about it, and like for me, I want to stay on top of it every single day to know I'm making progress. So I knew I would go into that chat knowing I would accomplish nothing, but knowing that maybe there's a rare chance, a slim chance that one person is going to be able to push this to the right person and
Right.
get it through. You know,
Every so
maybe.
often you get one that is seems more American than not.
Right.
And you can carry on a coherent conversation, but a
Right.
lot of the times it's not that way. It's like they're using translate from one language to another language to their native language. It's just it's very frustrating. I wish that that's something that they would revamp, but yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, it just in hopes that they'll push it to the right department to at least escalate it in the right way. So
Right.
you said you at one point had put your house on the market in this case. Was that because you went, for lack of a better term, like balls to the wall with TikTok and kind of put all your eggs in that basket, seeing all the success, hoping it would continue in that direction, and you kind of cut off, your
Right.
other business? That's
Right.
crazy. I mean, that's a leap of faith. I mean, in
I think at that
all
time I had like $44,000 locked up in TikTok.
right. My
So like,
gosh, but
it's not like
that's a big
I was
chunk of
seeing
income though.
success, you know. Like
Right.
to me,
Right.
like it just the timing both times it was just gut wrenching. You know, I have a viral
Oh.
week or something and do this huge number and be like, okay, it's gonna work. You know, I think and then boom, cut, and it's like.
It's crazy that you
it was really difficult.
Oh yeah, I can't even imagine. I mean, and it's crazy that you were able to get at least get the money out of it, which is the good thing. I mean, being able to get that, most people don't even see that. I mean, I know a
Right.
few people who have 10, 20, $30,000 locked up that they're never going to see again. It's been months, it's been way past the 90 days. But, that's the ebbs and the flows of this of TikTok. I mean, it's as unfortunate as that sounds. When you enter
Crazy.
this program, you're at risk of losing everything if TikTok just somehow mismoderates you or moderates you in the right way, but you weren't paying attention to the terms of service. In your case, luckily it was a mismoderation, so they,
Right.
it was overturned and things of that nature. But I know plenty of people who won't see that money, but you have to follow the guidelines. You have to follow the terms of service. TikTok is pretty strict, but when you sign up for this program, you're accepting that
Those
they can
terms.
take your
I know.
commissions. Yeah, it's
Right.
so crazy. And
That's why I
it's
run
so
3
important.
accounts though.
Right.
That's why I run multiple. I have a family to support, and I learned at the very beginning that you can like I decided there's no way I could rely on one. I
Right.
needed multiple because I had to split it up because if I was shown from the get go that all of it could be taken away, so that's when I really started focusing on splitting into 3 accounts. Now, like that, when they're all 3 going crazy, it seems like, oh, that was brilliant. But that's not why I did it.
You're
I
right.
did it expecting 2 to be locked up for some reason at every time. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. And when you started was right about the time when I lost mine. So I mean, it happens. I got lucky to get mine back too. It's crazy.
Yeah, my timing was terrible. I think it was either May or June was one of those huge. So they closed. There was like a loophole closed.
That was
Loophole
May.
account. Yeah, May, and then June there was that other monster band wave.
Yep.
And
That was
so,
a scary
I was
one.
just
So many
like,
people lost their accounts.
Yeah, I lost I had some other accounts like that I was starting that I lost in that time, and I lost some money on them. But again, I felt like that was always part of how to be successful. Like I learned from those things, and what I learned from it was valuable to keep going forward.
To find some positives in those negatives, there's very little monetary investment in all this. It's not like you threw
Right.
$50,000 into starting a business and then you lost it all. It's at the end of the day, you threw in a little bit of time, earned a shit ton of money. It's kind of like gambling in a sense, but without any risk on your end. It sucks seeing that money there and then gone. I mean, I think I lost in total a few $1,000s off of one of my old accounts. I almost lost 10 grand off of my main. And I've never been able to re-jumpstart that account. I guess though too, I haven't been very consistent on it because I found a lot of success on my other one. But
Right.
yeah, it's that's like the only positive out of that entire thing is that you're not dumping a shit ton of money into this to lose it, right? But at the end of the day, $100 is $100. That's still, on a purchased account, still sucks, but it's better
Right.
than the latter. But that's man,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
If I look at our like the picture of everything I've done since I've started, it is the positives way outweigh the negatives.
Yeah,
You
right,
know,
right, right.
what you focus on as, you know, a creator that's gone through these things though is it's all the negatives that you learn from that made you into like the creator that you are right now.
Correct.
So when I take a step back and look at the big picture, it's all positive. But if I go into details of like each step along the way, it's like, wow, it's just, you know, there's so many negatives, and so I don't want to be
Right.
negative. I'm not negative about it. I'm very thankful for, you know, everything that I've gotten to do with TikTok. But you know, there's challenges along the way, and that, you know, if you can overcome, I'm no one. You know, I wasn't anyone either. I was just a regular. I'm still just a regular person.
Right.
You know, and you know, just relentless and refuse to give up, and it kind of it's been working out lately, and you know, I'm still uncertain about where it goes. You know,
100%.
I try to Social Army, and you know, that community helps me feel like I'm surrounded by a bunch of people in the same situation, and it helps me feel like there's guidance, you know, to where instead of you're just floating out here on an island by yourself wondering what direction it is, you kind of see things as they're happening a lot better. You know, before it was like, you know, floating around on Twitter or floating around on some, you know, giant Discord group that, you know, I don't know. I mean, it just, Social Army kind of feels like it gives you that good, you know, community to where we all know, like, you know, a good example was when TikTok glitched out the other day. You know, I mean, Social Army was just going nuts, and I was laughing. I was trolling everyone. You know, just having fun in the main
Yeah.
chat. You know,
I had to get in there and calm everyone down for a minute there, man. It was going nuts.
I was going the other way. I was like, no, everyone got banned. It's over.
I saw that. I saw that. That was great. And see, that's the best part about the community that we've built inside Social Army. It is truly a community's community. Like it is, it's people ran, you know, we have a lot of events. I go live in there all the time. So do a lot of our other coaches and creators. Hopefully we can get you on board with doing that soon and get you a case study coming along, because man, your situation is crazy. And I would love to have you put it on video, but you know, we do a lot of things in there, but the best part is it's literally a tight-knit community. We have over 3,000 members, but it doesn't feel that way. You know,
No.
everyone is just so inclusive with each other. It's not one of those communities where you jump in and, you know, there's cliques or you feel just unwelcomed in any way, shape, or form. It don't matter who you are, what your background is, what your age is. Hell, we have people in their 70s inside this
awesome.
group. You know, we have kids
That's
as young as, you know, 17, 18 years old in this group. You know, just all walks of life. And
Right.
it's insane. And the crazy thing about our group is somehow, some way, it's 70% women and only 30% men, which is crazy.
Dude, that's the case on all TikTok groups. Every
It
agency
is.
too. It seems like.
But I love
Like,
it
they're
because
like-
they occupy the top 10 every single month. They're killers.
all the time. It's
Every
nuts.
and you being inside that top 10 is rare.
It's crazy.
It's
If I
nuts.
started wearing makeup, I could really blow it up.
I feel that. I need to start doing hair stuff. I got long hair. You
Yeah,
know, I got to start doing hair stuff.
Yeah, you got long hair
Oh,
too,
that's
see?
hilarious. But
No,
it's,
but yeah,
it's-
I tell all of my like female friends or
Right.
like relatives even, I'm like, I feel like being a female, you have like
You have an
advantage.
upper
I think
hand.
You
Yeah.
really should give TikTok Shop a try, because
1000%.
so many of those girls are just, I mean, they're killing it,
Yep.
and so many of the products revolve around, you know, female products, and you know, I think I think it's great for them. I don't feel like it's an unfair advantage. You know,
Right.
challenge accepted, right?
Come on. We still prevail lots of times.
Yeah, that's right.
I love it.
I'm up there
though.
for a couple weeks. You know, we'll see what
Right.
happens. Though.
It's your time to shine. I was up there for like almost a month. I loved it. And then I got yanked off, you know, and right back to
Right.
all the women. But it's great seeing that, because at the end of the day, we have a massive community of stay-at-home moms. You know, we have a massive community of just for lack of a better term, I don't mean this in an offensive way, but housewives, you know,
Yeah.
women who stay at home and their man is the breadwinner. But a lot of these women are coming in and taking over as that role of their household, because they're jumping on here and putting their experiences and their skills to use by convincing the other people who enjoy their content and feel their experiences to buy whatever it is that they're selling, and they blow the hell up. Hell, we have
Yeah,
one
they
lady.
kill it.
Dude, we have one lady in there who's doing like $100,000 a month almost consistently and overall, and it's just insane to see it. And now she makes 3 times as much as her husband does yearly, which, you know, in 2-3 months time, which is just wild to see. So, and I love it.
Yeah.
I love seeing it happen in real time. And I love seeing the support too from a lot of these women's husbands. Like, get it, do your thing. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I've
just never seen
something.
something.
I really enjoy watching people's success. I do.
Yeah.
Like that to me, like I spend a lot of time in like the wins, thread or whatever.
Yes,
just because
it's
I
my favorite
enjoy
place.
seeing like the happiness. I know what that feels like. I know like people chipping away every step along the way. I just, that now, like, especially now, like I love going and checking in there and seeing each new person. Like, I mean, I saw someone the other day post like they made their first sale and they were like, they made 60 cents or something. But
right.
like I remember, like, and it wasn't that long ago,
Making money on the internet is one of the most invigorating feelings ever, because it takes away from the conventional style of working, which is a 9 to 5, right? It takes away from the comfort of having some sort of job security, and being able to make money outside of that, doing something that's just, for lack of a better term, just kind of fun and quirky, is cool. When I remember when I first made $50 in a day, I was like, holy shit, that's 5 hours of work at $10 an hour off of a silly little video. Then that $50 turned into $300. Then that $300 turned into $1,000 a day. And at that point I was like, okay, if I can make $1,000 a day for 7 days in a row, that's my monthly salary. What is going on? And the excitement is surreal. And being able to post to other people who feel that is great. I love joining in the win section and just seeing these people who go live for the first time and be like, oh my God, I just went live for 90 minutes and I made $600. Holy shit, congratulations. That is absolutely insane. You spent 90 minutes of your life to make like $275 an hour or every 45 minutes or whatever it is. Something nuts, which is unheard of. That's more than doctors and surgeons and lawyers make. And everyday people are doing it on TikTok. It's just, it's insane.
I remember insane. I had set a goal, kind of when I was starting to get going and feeling like I was going to be able to do it successfully. My goal was to do $500 in commission a day. And I knew that if I did that, I would be able to cover my bills and like comfortably. Right. But that was my goal. But at that time I set that goal, I had started doing like $1,000 a day. But I've always stayed consistent at like $500 is my goal every single day. And now I know in the back of my head, I'm like, I can fall to $500, right? And I'm still reaching my goal. And I think that brings a lot of positivity in my life, especially, I mean, in the past 2 weeks, it's been $10,000 days minimum. Cool. So, but my goal is still $500 a day, so, I mean, I'm serious. It's been like 14 days or something. And I finally hit, like yesterday, I did $8,000, and that's because I sold out the book.
Oh,
but not
that
just
is
me. There's
so
other creators
surreal.
doing really well in it too. But
still, for you to get the piece of the pie at $10,000 a day, while other creators are also still getting a piece of that pie, just goes to show that the saturation does not really exist.
Exactly. I've been trying to diversify lately, but and I've been doing new products, and I still believe in stick with what you're good at. And I've had some success, on some other products, but the success on sticking to what I'm good at allowed me to have some wiggle room now, I felt like, to really try to work on some other stuff too. But it's still the reason I get to do that is because I continue to do the same thing that has worked.
It's insane. Just hearing somebody say $10,000 days consistently is wild. My biggest day was 12 grand. My most consistent days were always $2,000 to $3,000.
Right.
But 10 grand for more than 5 days in a row is just wild.
Wild. I agree with you. I mean, it's hard to understand.
Yeah. What's your wife think about all this?
Honestly, she doesn't really, she's just as surprised, and it's hard to believe. I mean, it's easier to believe when you look at a bank account,
right? When you see the deposits actually come in. Yeah, I was talking to Rad Dad about that, but dude, that's insane.
Like consistently, it's been like $10,000 a day deposits, and I mean, even and my banker too. Remember, I told you I'm close friends with her,
right?
Family friends, and we had the conversation about putting my house on the market and all that, and I texted her, I don't know, a week ago, and I said, hey, just want to let you know, you're going to see it's going to go a little crazy because I did, like 140 in September. And she was just like, okay. And then she called me yesterday and she was like, you weren't kidding. And I was like, no, I wasn't kidding.
That's insane.
So
Actually, I bank here, just at a local bank here in town, and the branch manager called me and started trying to pitch me all these different money market accounts and savings accounts and all this kind of stuff. He goes, "Dude, you have so much money flowing in and out of this account. What are you going to do?" I was like, I'm outside of this. Don't worry, I have other places, but it's just, that's insane. God, good for you, man. It is. It's such a good feeling. And knowing after all the shit that you went through, putting your house in the market, trying to make sure that you and your family are secure, for it to all just kind of fall into place where it's at now is, I bet it's more of a relief than anything. Kind of like, it paid off. And most people would have, right. And most people would have quit the second they would have had to put their house in the market. Now this is too risky. I can't do this. What am I doing with myself? Most people would have thrown in the towel right there, but you didn't. I mean, you saw the opportunity. You saw, the potential rather of what all this could be, and you kept chasing it. So good for you. That's insane. That's insane. And on all things too,
for the motivation.
Of course. That's all I want to do is make sure I continue to motivate people to keep doing what they're doing. Cause I know if I can do it, somebody who is a high school dropout, ADHD like crazy, has a wife, 4 kids, 2 dogs, a cat, and has all these responsibilities, and by society standards is somebody who should technically be a failure. If I can do it, I know anybody else who surrounds me can. And that's why I push people the way that I do with the little messages that I do. I mean, you see when I post stuff inside Social Army, those motivational messages for people, the amount of responses that come out of that. I mean, it's purely to keep people going, because motivation, it's a high. It's not permanent. It does not last forever. What does is discipline, drive, and passion. And the more I can get people to discipline themselves, the more drive I can provide to them. And the more I can make them feel as if this becomes a passion, the more people I know will find success to come out of this. And I love seeing it happen. I mean, it happened with you, not solely because of me by any means necessary, but I played a part in that. And it's happened with multiple other creators. And that's why I do this, because I want to see those individuals who were like me at one point in time, who were scraping to get by, who were trying to find a way to make things work, to provide a better life for their family and, keep things on the table. I want others to be able to experience that, because it's very achievable. Very achievable. That's crazy.
Had a big impact on me, that's for sure.
Good. Well, I'm glad. And I'm glad to see you where you're at today, man. And for you to just be where you're at is just, that kind of money in such a short period of time is mind boggling. We had another creator by the name of Dan, who did like 200K in a month's time. And you and him just blow my mind when it comes to that, because it's just insane. And you guys have very similar ways of doing things. You found something that worked, just double, triple, and quadruple down on it, and don't deviate from that path. You keep going. If it works, it works. Right. And look at the results it brought you. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. God, that's crazy. Crazy. Well, we're about coming up here on time. I do have one last thing to ask you, man. If there's anything you've got to say for the audience watching today, any sort of words of encouragement or anything of that nature, or anything you would just kind of want to get out there, is there anything in particular you have?
Yeah, I just would like to remind people, you've heard my story now. No matter what walk of life you're in, this is something that's absolutely achievable. And it boils down to you deciding that you want to do it. And again, if your sales numbers aren't quite there yet, or you still haven't made your first sale, keep going, keep posting, keep doing it. I go look at old content and I'm like, but doing that, getting the reps and being involved in a community like Social Army makes all the difference in the world, because you need that motivation. I'm motivated by seeing other people's big numbers, but there's all sorts of different versions of motivation that, happen in that community, especially. And, just keep going, because, I don't know how else to say that that's the only reason why I'm here having this conversation with you, is because I just refuse to give up. And I know it can be frustrating and difficult, but yeah, it's worth it. There's opportunity here that I've never seen in any other place ever. So
that's 1000% the truth. And its consistency is key. The second you fail at being consistent is the second you fail. At the end of the day, it's that simple. So good for you, dude. I'm so proud is an understatement in that sense, right? I just love seeing this stuff. This is why we do what we do. This is why we host this show, is to bring awareness to everyone out there and bring stories like yours to the masses. Hopefully we can get quite a few thousand people to watch this and listen to it, and maybe you can spark some inspiration underneath someone's ass and get them out there. So that's awesome. I hope so too. Dude, I appreciate you for being here today, Brandon. I think this is going to clear it up for here. For those of you guys that do want to join Social Army, there is going to be a link down below this video if you're watching on YouTube that will give you a landing page to come over to join Social Army. Those links will be Brandon's links, so you'll be directly supporting him. Also, for any socials that he is comfortable sharing, we will also link those down below for you guys to go check out. If there's certain pages that he doesn't want up there, we will not place those there. Cool. So outside of that, again, I appreciate you guys for being here. This was an amazing episode, and I really do hope that it brings some motivation, some drive, and just some words of encouragement to anybody out there that may have been going through a hard time with this, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you're going through. As long as you're consistent and you really do have the drive to make this work, you will find the success that you're looking for. So outside of that, Brandon, I appreciate you for being here. You guys have a great one, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks, Bryce.
Of course.